Okay, no, they do look like a wolf, but they're just small.
They're just small,
Okay.
yeah. They're really small.
Look there. Look, in the road.
What's up, bro? Dude.
Look, he's gonna run right in front of us.
They gallop like horses.
Look at him.
There he is. There he is. I like his little red ears.
Boy, it's a beautiful animal. Look.
He's so cute though. I like his little
Look at
crab.
that.
I am getting good footage. He has really big
Where'd the other one go? There were two of them. There's another one. That's a bigger one.
Fluffy tail.
That was a bigger one.
He's probably coming.
Right there. Right there.
There he is. Dude.
That one's almost black. I'll turn you around here. I'm actually right next to a city park. This is one of the things we need to talk about in environmental science is urban wildland interface, or where our urbanization meets the wildlands, meets wild habitats that are undisturbed by man. So with just a few steps, I'm now on a cultivated park. So you might be thinking, okay, so they cut down some woods to make a park. What's the big deal? Well, it's not just the park. It's the expansion of all urban areas, shopping centers, roads, houses, housing developments, all those things that go with it, expanding the highways and things. As a living community urbanizes and expands out into the wildland, then all of those construction projects cause an effect. Now, it's not just the construction. For instance, if you're a canine, if you're a coyote, now you're exposed, you were in the wild, now you're exposed to all the diseases that are brought here by people's dogs. Urban wildland interface also modifies the habitat. We like parks, things that are open. We like our housing developments and things like that. Now that favors some species. Often it favors invasive exotic species. We don't really like living in what appears to be the jungle, even though it really is. This growth of vegetation is beautiful, but it's not typically what's done. So what you typically see is artificial open areas like that, wide open spaces with very, very sparse trees, if not trees at all, or open areas where the trees are very separate from each other and a lot of the undergrowth is missing. This complete change of the actual habitat favors some species and selects against other species, plant species, animal species, insect species, and so on. So just the modification of the structure of the habitat itself is going to lead to some serious changes. Sometimes urban wildland interface leads to the direct removal of species. So if you're a jogger jogging on these paths behind me, or if it's your kid out here playing on these playgrounds and stuff, and you see coyotes, big bobcats, things like that, you're gonna be scared. You're gonna tell somebody. And the parks people will probably come out here and run a trapping program and remove those animals for the safety of your children and your pets. That happens. Sometimes predators have to be removed, which is unfortunate. It does change the ecosystem completely, but this is one of the realities of urban wildland interface. The soil is exposed to all sorts of stuff out here now that people's cars are out there leaking oil and transmission fluid, brake dust, all those sorts of things, not to mention all the garbage that comes from humans, all the trash cans that leak leachate down into the soil, all of the garbage that finds its way out here into the wildland itself and starts to decompose and leach things like BPAs into the soil and water. Areas of urban wildland interface are also notorious for stray cats, stray dogs, all sorts of pets that have been dumped in the waters, people's fish that they didn't want to take care of, and things like that. They're notorious for having feral species. Feral species are organisms that were once captive or tame and have been released into the wild and are now interacting with the wild ecosystem, even though they were supposed to be domesticated. Former domesticated animals can really wreak havoc. For instance, cats. Cats will kill stuff like songbirds, mice, all sort of other stuff. Snakes, they'll kill stuff just for fun. Even if you're feeding them at home, you let them out at night, they just go kill stuff because that's what they do. They're predators. There's definitely an upside to urban wildland interface, and I'm standing in one of them right now. Where I'm standing, this is giant cane, and as you can see, they're huge, the giant cane, and you can hear the creek running behind me here. This is a perfect habitat for a canebrake rattlesnake. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the rattlesnake habitat to tell you the rest of this. This is pretty darn wild out that way, right? So if you're one of the native species that is is supposed to be here, you can continue to exist and not really be threatened here on this little park. And through all the parks and little green spaces around the city. So there is a practice of urban wildlife management. Urban wildlife management is all about managing these green spaces, managing the water, managing the plants, managing the animals, managing the people and how they deal with the animals, how the pets deal with the animals. All of that science is urban wildlife management. And I hope you get into it.